Well, the amazing Amazon really just continues to amaze and hitting all-time highs almost every single day. Look at this incredible run, up 21% in just 2 weeks' time. And it's an amazing company, Guy Adami. People are ordering, the company is delivering. Here's the question I have for you. Too far, too fast? Are too many fund managers and investors putting too much confidence in Amazon stock?
Could have said that 10, 15, 20% ago. I mean, I think the stock, if my math is right, I think it's up almost 45% from the lows we saw in mid-March to where we currently are now, which is just an incredible move. And we actually, I think, collectively spoke about how well Amazon was trading in the wake of what was a pretty miserable broader market back then. To answer your question, I think Amazon reports on or about next Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, I would... If you were trading the stock here, I think you absolutely have to take profits ahead of earnings and look for a test back to the 2170 level, which, if you recall, was the previous all-time high. So a great run, probably justified. I can't, for the life of me, figure out a scenario where they blow earnings out that this will continue. So I would suggest taking profits into earnings next week.
Karen Feineman, Guy says, if you own it, you should think about taking some profits. Do you own it? And if so, will you take some profits?
No, I do not. I mean, I never got comfortable with the valuation, which was obviously a mistake everywhere along the way. I thought the piece, though, was interesting, you know, J.P. Morgan's piece on Amazon about, I mean, I think the revenues are going to be gigantic. Also, the costs are going to be gigantic. You know, they've $2 raises for their workers, overtime. I think the minimum wage is $34 an hour for that. I don't know if those costs will stay, even if things slow down after this crisis passes, or if the revenue stays as well. If people's lives have been fully transformed and they're not going back to brick and mortar anyway like they used to. I don't know. We'll see. I do think that the cloud business is here to stay for them and to continue to grow. But I just, you know, at valuations like this, I sadly can't get involved. I think I said that maybe, I don't know, 500 points ago.
Karen, don't worry about it. There's people that said it, have been saying it for 20 years, Steve Grasso. I mean, any valuation metric on Amazon has never made sense. I've been having the same discussion since they went public, whatever that was, 20 or whatever number of years ago. Valuations with some companies, in particular Amazon, have never seemed to matter. But should they?
Yeah, no, I don't think they need to matter. This is a name. Let's start off with where Karen left off on AWS. That has been what people never factored in, and what a blockbuster revenue stream that would be. But think about the other things. It's been corona-proof for everything that you mentioned, but also Prime Video, Prime Music. So I was a latecomer to the Amazon pantry, but now you have these subscription methods of payment with Amazon that are like set it and forget it. So for me, I'm not going to turn that switch off once we come out of a hole, and you're going to wind up ordering these things, staying static on them. But to the longer answer is, I agree with Guy, some resistance here at the 24.65 level into earnings. I'd be taking profits. And the more we see vaccine headlines enter into the equation, the quicker people are going to vacate their Amazon position. So I would say sell and say thank you, Mr. Bezos.
Wow, sell the news kind of an event there on Amazon.com. Tim Seymour, would you agree with that?
You know what? I think Amazon is, first of all, always rewarded by the market when they're going for growth at all costs. So I think this is a good environment. Remember, on March 16th, in the middle of really a parade of negative news, they said they're going out to hire 100,000 new workers. Some of that was obviously to pull in folks that they had already furloughed, et cetera. The last 75 that they just announced really are about going for it. I do think that Amazon, Steve started to get into this. First of all, the changes that we talked about in some other sectors that I don't think have to suddenly change after COVID, is not what's going on with Amazon. Remember, they were taking market share. They were already destroying brick and mortar. They are now going to be a bigger player in household items and groceries. Steve talked about that. That's a change that's not going to change. Ultimately, if you think about it, they are also the biggest beneficiary. They happen to be the best operator right now. That's why the market is rewarding them. So as someone like Karen that hasn't necessarily been, it's not been easy for me to chase Amazon. I don't know that for a stock that's only up 20% over the last 18 months, if you want to cherry pick spots, has to sell off big into these numbers, not in this environment.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, Guy, to Tim's point, I mean, listen, and again, not being hyperbolic, I mean, but if this continues for a while, you could almost see a retail landscape where it's Amazon, Walmart, Target, a couple of others, and no one else.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been headed that way. I mean, we were headed that way before anybody really ever heard of coronavirus. So to answer your question, I mean, it seems to be the trajectory we continue to be on. And I totally get what Tim is saying. You know, I'm again using the word earlier, you know, trying to be pragmatic into earnings. I don't think it's a ridiculous concept to take some money off the table on a stock that's run the magnitude that it has. And I want to mention this quickly. I don't think any of us are doing this, but I'm trying to read through the Gilead note. And from what I can tell, this is more treatment than vaccine, which I think is an important distinction. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But you know, I think I don't want to get ahead of ourselves in terms of vaccine versus treatment. I think it's an important distinction at this point.